There it goes. Here we go.
Hey!
We're here. It's book club. Eris
Good
is
evening.
the host.
Yeah, I'm gonna try at least, because I remember the last time I did this, it was a complete fucking disaster. So let's do this again! Hi everybody, welcome to the Pancake Sex Book Club. Tonight we are 4 out of 5, because basically I screwed up and didn't get back to everybody with a possible new time. Sorry, Rosie. This week we are reading Lagoon by Nnedi Okorafor.
Nice.
Nnedi Okorafor. And we practiced before going live. This is one of her standalone books. I think she has a nice sci-fi series too, but this is a standalone. The back of the book, or like front of the ebook blurb, is that a rapper, a soldier, and a marine biologist are abducted by aliens in the city of Lagos, Nigeria. And then stuff happens, and then holy hell does it ever happen! Mm-hmm. I want to get some first impressions on all of the things that happened. Amelia, how did you feel about all of the things that happened?
A lot of things happened.
Yeah. Cannot
Overall,
understand that.
I would say my impression of the book was good. I enjoyed reading it. It was entertaining. There's a little bit for me in the middle that kind of dragged, and I found it hard to get back to. So there's like a in between, like the aliens came and then they went to see the aliens in the ocean. There's this middle chunk that's kind of like
it's in like
Act
2.
And once they're going to see them, it all picks up again.
Yes.
I'm like, whoa, shit. Okay,
yes.
I'm back in. But overall, I really liked it, and I thought it was really unique and really awesome culturally. Just a culture that I'm not familiar with personally, and I found that to be really fun. So that's my overall impression.
Cool. Izzy.
I got it right here. I got it from the library. I don't know.
Nice.
Ooh, you're so physical.
Hold on, I just have to pause. Is it your birthday?
Yes.
Happy birthday!
Yes, I'm old today.
Sorry.
Almost.
I doubt it.
Shush.
You're still
I know, I'm the youngest.
Quiet,
I'm like
you.
old today. I'm like 2 years closer to 30. It's weird.
Oh.
Yeah, guess who's closer to 40 than she is 30?
Hey. guys, let's just everyone tune your instruments. Tune your instruments, everyone,
It's
for the
cool.
world's tiniest violin orchestra.
Yeah.
Rude. Y'all are rude.
Oh, wait. Oh, wrong key. There we go.
No, it's cool. I just am hopefully maybe we'll start being thought of as 21. That's the like test every year. Is like, will I get ID'd less?
Yeah.
Is it gonna
How
happen yet?
hard am I getting carded?
One day you'll miss it. One day.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I know, but like by that I'm gonna be like 40, and it's just like this is so awesome.
Anyway, what do you want to tell us about the book, Izzy, before you just keep digging the hole?
Anyways, I went from reading it from the library to the audiobook because I was worried about the pidgin English. But after I basically like memorized this whole freaking glossary, it didn't matter. So I picked up the audiobook because I was running short on time, and that's a little easier to get through sometimes. But it was delightful and really unique. Like probably the most unique book I've read this year. I feel like at least in the top 3 of like uniqueness there, like plot, story, everything. I had the same drag in that middle part too.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, let's go, guys. Let's go. I want more aliens. Like, come on. But it was really awesome and a good Earth invasion.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't read a lot of books that are about like Earth being invaded, actually. Like, it's always like us landing on a weird planet. Or in spaceships.
Yeah. Somehow the alien invasion genre has sort of gone by the wayside, I think.
Yeah.
And the ones who do it are...
attention.
I was about to say,
but I'm excited.
are upset small dogs.
Yeah. I'm excited. I want to read her other series.
Yeah, I really want to read Binti.
Like, she has a really unique voice as an author, and I like that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Highly recommend Binti. The second part of that is coming out in, I think, February.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I was looking at it.
Yeah, I've pre-ordered it already.
My Amazon recommendations keep reminding me, like, hey, you said you wanted to read this book. You ever going to read this book? You going to read this book? Yes, Amazon, I will. I will get
It's short. It's a little novella. It's nice. It's a quick read.
Cool. So, Nass, what did you think of this one?
I really liked it as well. It kind of in a not really similar way, but I always find it really interesting to read science fiction from other cultures. Like earlier this year, I read the Three Body Problem, which is Chinese science fiction that was translated into English, and it just comes at it from a completely different angle than what like Western sci-fi is, and so I appreciated that about this as well. Even though Okorafor is American, her culture is Nigerian, and so I think that was really fascinating. You brought a different flavor to it.
Yeah, it didn't feel Western at all.
No,
Yeah.
it was
The problems that it
Like-
addressed were not Western at all, which I
Exactly.
Honestly, from like language use, structure of the novel, I would say also felt very like something that a Western novelist would not do.
Mhm.
yeah, that's great.
Mhm.
So good.
And that might have been actually part of like our problem with it. Maybe it's just, you know, like there would be something in the middle there. I don't know. I have no way of knowing because fucking look at me. So
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that's possible. I don't know if part of it is just like, you know, you're so like anxious for more with the aliens in a way.
yeah, I really
Like you just can't help it, you know, you're excited.
I don't know. I mean, it didn't drag for me at all. But
good.
when I was in college, before I was a journalism major, I was a world lit major, so I read a lot of books from other cultures, and I think that's helps with that. Maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, probably.
okay, I'll grant that.
Like reading Russian novels and stuff would probably make
Yeah.
nothing compared to
Right? Like once you've read War and Peace, you're good.
yeah, like nothing really drags probably
Sure.
after that.
War and Peace.
Well, because
I
that's
just
one of
felt
the.
like there
Aw,
was
be
a
nice to
section
War and
where
Peace.
nothing moved forward in story, and we
Well, 'cause
stayed in the same
It was
place.
very, and that's exactly what happened. Like it was just like we paused in time and we rewind the same like 5 minutes of time,
Right.
like over and over again from like different points on the city map.
Right.
And
Which
it was
I
just
really
like I thought
You
it
know,
was really
it's a good
cool.
mechanic in writing to do for sure. It gave you a lot
Yeah.
of it gave us, I think what it is like it was so much more perspective than you were expecting from the book.
Yeah.
Because like the little blurb is like, you know, 3 people, you know, so you're just thinking it's going to be that, and all of a sudden you're like getting thrown around all these different people's perspectives
no.
and what happened.
At one point, it turns into a Guy Ritchie movie with all the like, you know, heisty shit going on at the same time.
It does.
And I was like, oh, okay, I figured this out again. And then it immediately stops being that and goes into the I was there sections. And I was like,
Yes.
I just thought I figured this out. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've made my perspective on, pardon me, multiple shifts in POV. I'm not good at it. Makes me uncomfortable. As a reader, like I'm just not good at switching my gears that quickly. And this was like, I don't give a fuck what you think, lady. Come on, we're going. This is Philomena.
she put Matt Wallace to shame with the head hopping. Like,
Yeah.
Oh
Seriously.
my god, yeah.
Because it was within the same chapter sometimes.
and some unique perspectives, like the perspective of the insect and the perspective of the
I love those.
creature lady.
Oh.
She looked like a narwhal or something. Or no, swordfish.
Swordfish.
And the perspective
Swordfish.
of the spider. Like there
Well,
was
the
just
opening, I was like, wait, what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
It took me
I
way
was-
too long to figure that out. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
I know.
Right,
And then I
figure
was
out
like, oh, okay.
The bat was my favorite
Bat.
chapter.
oh god,
I
that was
loved
so
the bat.
That was so
Rip
upsetting.
space bat.
But
Space
that was
bat
all of
forever.
them, right? Like the tarantula, all of them. They're like, this tarantula became the smartest tarantula in the entire universe,
Yeah.
and then the
And then-
president killed him.
And dead.
I was like,
Bat
all
can
right.
do more than any other bat, and then the president killed it.
Yes.
And didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I liked those
And, like,
perspectives.
it was like dark comedy that I really kind of appreciated because it had been so beautifully written to that point. It was like very like ah, and then and then I got run over by a car. And I love that shit. That is like my brand of humor.
Yeah.
If that doesn't sound too sociopathic. So my version of like really quick to wrap up my thing. I liked it. I had a lot of trouble with it though, and it comes 100% from like me and how I interact with books because like again I'm bad at head hopping. I lose the flow, and then also when I hit the Pigeon English, I had a dictionary, like a little like honest to God, a tripod based website. Like remember Tripod?
Wow.
posted on tripod with like this big definition kind of thing of all this stuff. I was like, all right. So I was sitting there like trying to translate every single line, and I was just getting bogged down, and that kind of held me back too. But I know that has more to do with me as a reader than about the story and the flow of the story, which I thought was beautifully written. I love how she writes prose. I love how she puts together characters. So I'm still kind of like finding my feet, and I'm hoping that I can find where exactly my star rating comes from all this. So
yeah, I definitely think I would probably rec people to read the physical version for easier flipping to that gloss, like, because that really helped me when I first started it, to be able to flip back here. And then when I was listening to it, in a way, I was able to piece together what they were saying better.
I ended up speaking it. I read the ebook, and I ended up just saying those sentences out loud. And
or that.
Yeah, sounding it out phonetically helps.
I mean, some of the words they're not exactly analogs.
No,
but for a lot of it, you can get what the meaning of the sentence is.
Yeah, and when you need like a specific word translated, that's what the internet or that glossary is there for. Yeah. I'm gonna hop way ahead. So since we're already talking about the Pidgin English, why do you think she chose to write so much of the dialogue in that Pidgin English?
Because it's accurate, right? Like it's character set and scene
setting. Sure it matched the character.
It builds the world in a way that the wonderful Scottish novel we read did not.
Yes.
Bear Forever.
The Pidgin English, I felt like really, really contributed to you feeling like you are not in a Western culture. You are somewhere else. It's very different here, especially like when Philomena would switch.
Yeah,
see, that rang really true
regular.
To me.
That was when I kind of got it. I was like,
that rang really true to me as somebody who half of my family speaks French, and a lot of them also speak English, and they switch. I mean, in the same conversation between Joao, real French, or not real French, but standard French and standard English, and then they code switch the way that people did. Some of the characters did here, depending on who they talk to, will depend on what language they choose to speak.
Well, like, and that's the same thing I know of, like, all my friends who are bilingual, like, do that. And it's like, wait, stop.
Most of the people who speak Spanish down here, it's just arbitrary whatever word they want to use in whatever language.
Yeah. Whichever feels right for what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of culture, that, like, even within social groups, you're still culture hopping, because you're not just moving between Pidgin English and English. You're also moving between Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, like all these different Muslim and Christian. So basically, like, by using the very like stark, you can't possibly miss this cue of we are hopping around. I think that also helped kind of really hammer home that, like, everyone in this story, and I think we're supposed to take that everybody in Lagos is constantly hopping back and forth between multiple cultures, multiple languages, and multiple backgrounds, all trying to just live in Lagos. So I thought that was a really good way of, like, getting the point across. When you had to understand what the heck they were trying to do and trying to plan around, you had to have that dictionary, but it was doing other work at the same time, which I thought was important. So I thought it was cool. I do wish that I had the little glossary printed out on the side, though. So I will take us back up to where we actually started. So Izzy, do you still think that the little girl was koala?
No, I just kept reading it that way.
No, honestly,
and I don't know why. Like, I think it's because I was reading it at night, and I was just like just like in that like weird state of like getting sleepy, and I'd be like, that's not that kid's name. There's no way that kid is named.
Well, that's the benefit to the audiobook, I will say, is that it was beautiful to listen to.
Oh, yeah? It really was.
It was multiple voices.
Oh, that's awesome.
Multiple actors, so that was really fun.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was a really fun listen.
Cool.
I like it when they do that.
And then you get your pronunciations.
Yes,
any fantasy type novel or any novel that I don't know about, I appreciate when they tell me how to pronounce it.
Never forget ukulele.
Yeah, right? Patrick.
So, I will say, like, and I also think that it was cool that, like, one of her kids was named Cola, and the other was named Fred. So it's like,
you're
Chris and Adora, and so I thought that was another one of those, like, the heterogeneousness is everywhere and cannot be gotten away from. Like, even within a family, it is still there.
Yeah.
So Adora, she was super like down with this alien thing. Would you? So yeah, the question is, would you be as welcoming to the aliens as Adora was? Like, would she like weirdly down with this? Like, she was on board right away.
But they had all. I mean, all
she?
three of them had been taken down to see the aliens, right? So like,
Yeah.
it's not like they were just like, what's her? I kept reading her name is Figaro, but that clearly wasn't her name.
Fisayo.
Yeah,
I think it's Fisayo.
yeah. But
Sounds
like,
like we're gonna see her off now.
yes. So she saw everybody get taken, and then
Yeah, she had the very
back up.
negative
Right.
reaction.
But that, I mean,
Yeah, I
that would
didn't
make
even remember her name.
yeah.
Yeah,
Piggy.
Fisayo.
Poor girl.
Which I think like it's hard to say. Like, if sure,
Yeah.
they may who knows? Like, they may have been indoctrinated while they were down there. The experience might
Yeah.
have changed them enough that they became more sympathetic to what the aliens wanted.
Yeah, I guess I didn't
Yeah.
think about that. I just felt like it was very like quick her acceptance. of
Yeah.
them.
And it was the fact that there was like, once she was down there, she was just like, I believe this. I believe what is happening. I believe their statement that they come in peace. I believe this. I'm in. And I thought that might have been a little quick, but at the same time, you find out later, like, they've all had like this kind of strange experiences in their life before, and like they're kind of ready for this. Like, all right, yeah, some crazy shit going on in the sea. Okay, cool. Cool.
I liked it too as a counterpoint to most narratives that you read about sci-fi where aliens must be shot at with guns.
Yes.
So it was kind of nice to be like, well, all right, this is what's happening now. What, you know? And she did bring that part in as well,
Yeah.
which you just have to expect. But it was nice that everybody wasn't hostile.
Right.
That some humans were like, no, this is interesting and cool.
I also felt like
Yeah.
maybe in a way the science setup was like kind of to make her like, well, it's not that she's like welcoming. She's just kind of like, come to my house so I can fucking test you.
Yeah, like,
That's true.
Let me
I
do
need
it so I
True.
can test you, please. Like,
I
I
need
have
to go to my kick-ass science lab and
Yeah, I
figure
do
out what the
that.
hell is going on with you.
And also, let's fuck with my husband.
Yes.
That was so Hermione of her, like,
Yeah.
get down here and I'm going to start taking DNA. Okay, go. Like,
It reminded me of Dagna. Like, can I cut a little sample off
Yeah.
of you?
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made me like Adora a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I loved her. I thought she was
Right
a
away.
very, very good character, especially because she wasn't too like perfect.
She wasn't a Mary Sue.
Yes,
No, she
which
was
is
definitely
so
not.
easy to go into. Where like you happen to have a marine biologist in a book called Lagoon. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I think we know who's got the thing. Oh, speaking of haters, which was, you know, before we were saying like, oh, not everybody's going to react hatefully. What do we think of Father OK? Like, what was he doing in the story? What were Father OK and Chris doing in the story?
Okay was fleecing people is what he was doing.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh
yeah,
my
but
God,
like, what
he
was
was-
his narrative function? Is more what I'm thinking. Like, having
Remind me
OK
of
in
the
there.
crazy TV, whatever
Televangelist.
people. Yeah, televangelist. There you go. I'm like, what the fuck are they called? Those people. That's what he reminded me of immediately. I was like, oh my god, he's one of those, but in person, which I'm
Right.
sure they exist. Like,
Oh yeah.
It was interesting to me, like, juxtaposing, like, okay, let's religious moment here, right? Like, juxtaposing what Christianity is supposed to be about like love and tolerance for everybody, all that stuff, and here he is spreading hate about, like,
Smacking
Yeah.
women in this congregation.
Yeah.
right, encouraging Chris to hit his wife,
Yeah.
trying to steal the alien for his own purposes, like all these kinds of things. That,
Well, and I thought it was an important thing for the aliens to experience. Like, it was like
Mhm.
she did a good job of representing all different kinds of humans. I felt like,
Yeah.
like this is a type of human you're going to encounter, one that says one thing out of one side of his face and another thing out of the other. But then
Yeah.
also within that congregation, genuine believers and true
Yeah.
converts, you know, because Father OK wasn't, but other people were very
Yeah, like the
passionate.
older
Chris,
lady
too,
in the
was
back,
very passionate
Chris,
about what
yeah.
he believed in and believed it totally.
Yeah.
Chris was the
But
worst.
Chris was the
Chris was
worst.
the worst.
Chris was the worst. At the same time,
Do
okay,
you
so
think
now,
she stays with Chris?
fuck no, no.
You think she
God, I
just
hope
leaves
not.
him with the kids?
She might.
See, and that's the stuff that bothered me about the book. Was
Yeah.
Father OK just disappears. Chris just disappears.
I know.
You know,
I think
the army guys
Father OK
literally
fucking
just-
dies.
Yeah,
Father
Mother
OK.
OK didn't disappear.
No, he died.
Yeah, I mean,
Dead.
well, a lot of them do, but that like whole plot line, it feels like I'm super invested in this
Oh.
plot line.
Oh yeah,
right?
the plot line
the
disappeared.
husband
That
and
is
the
true.
religion and the EU, and then it's just like the book even taunts you at the end. Did you
Yeah.
want to know what happened? Too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a really interesting narrative choice to be like to show Adora, or whatever you say your name, Agu and Anthony, like slowly becoming less invested in their human lives and more invested in what the aliens wanted.
Yeah.
For sure. Good.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. She even has like kind of that moment of like, am I really gonna just like leave my kids? And
Yeah, I thought
she had that moment of like,
great
oh yeah, I might. And she doesn't like it, but she can kind of see it. And I think that's important. Now, all right, let's talk about witches, guys. Witches are my shit. I fucking love the sociological history of people getting called witches. Because I had a professor who it was in my she was the professor for my criminal procedure and my criminal law classes at law school, and she was talking about what is called the passion provocation manslaughter charge, which is when I mean her way of putting it was it's the bitch deserved it defense. Basically, like she pissed me off so bad that I had to kill her, and at one point she was kind of talking about it. She was like, well, yeah, because they don't get to burn difficult women as witches anymore. So what else are they going to do in order to be able to get away with this? So I was like, oh my God, it all makes sense. So like, and I've read a bunch of stuff about like how at least America kind of deals with witches. And it seems very similar back when, we dealt with witches. It was still that very, like, we can't really define what a witch is or does, but, like, you know it when you see it. And if a lady's pissing you off, there's every chance that she is a witch, especially if she has power of any kind. Not even if she's trying to fuck with you, but if she, like, shows up around the time that you're getting fucked with, that lady's probably a witch.
And you should probably...
Yeah, you should probably do something about that.
Also, what was interesting was she turned out to actually be a witch.
Yeah, that was the funny part.
That was the best.
That was actually
just like,
funny.
This book is even better. There's witches in it.
Oh my God,
She's
there's
a
actually
mermaid
witches.
witch. It's so good.
She is an African mermaid witch, and I was like, this is fantastic.
Yep, that's when it got good again.
Yes,
Yep.
seriously.
Sorry, what?
Like when they went full Fantastic Four toward the end, and they did go full Fantastic Four toward the end, including having fucking barriers.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, Chris Buster
Did you guys
floating around.
Yes.
Yes. Did you guys read the glossary entry on witches? Because that was probably my favorite glossary entry of all time.
I did not,
fucking
and I
hilarious.
actually just pulled it open now.
It's really good.
It's like, fuck if I know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, like,
What's a witch?
yep, fuck if I know. It's like,
Awesome.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah.
yeah. And that's pretty, no, honestly, that's
I
pretty
feel like we
much
should
how-
read it, but I kind of don't. I kind of want people to go read it for themselves.
Go,
Yeah, no,
go
seriously,
buy this book
this
and then
is-
read it.
This is a nice, quick book, too, so there's, like, every reason, especially if you don't do what I did and try and, like, translate every line of Pidgin English, you're not getting much out of it, trust me. Like, once you get the gist, you figure it out. Like, Chale, it's basically bro, but even before I found the glossary, I was like, I can tell that this is effectively bro. I don't know if it's, like, technically bro, but it feels like bro. So,
Or Wahala or whatever.
Wahala, I had to look up. I was like,
Well, yeah, but once I knew it, I was like, oh, yeah, totally get it.
yeah, as soon as you get it, it's right there. Like all the grammatical stuff, like na, dem, that kind of thing. Like I just had to eventually get an idea about it in my head to eventually, just.
Well, it's no different than reading any fantasy or sci-fi novel where there is...
No,
like,
with all of their fantasy babble.
Honestly, this is easier than most fantasy novel
Yeah, I would say so.
language can be.
Yes.
Because that can
I mean,
get
like,
a little
Lagoon or
raw.
anything like that.
And unlike sci-fi, there wasn't much techno babble.
Yes,
There wasn't really
which
any
was also
techno babble.
nice.
So, yeah. So you got to learn something.
And what's
so
the
the second language you
explained?
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's go on to what did we think of the Nigeria as portrayed in this book? Because it was worth remembering that Nnedi Okorafor is American, but she still has very deep cultural ties to Nigeria. Her family's from Nigeria, so like she's kind of that like midpoint. And I think she also talks about like American like Americans coming over to Africa. Like and staying there for a while, and that being like a unique experience in Lagos. So what did you?
Talked about the one guy that was helping his family with the 419.
Yeah, the 419.
Yeah.
419. Yeah, 419. There you go. 419. Same thing.
Yeah, and that's actually what I'll bring up. On Goodreads, there was actually a well-written 1-star review, which they do not come around often. But it mainly came out like this person. She was like, "I'm from Lagos. I don't recognize this place." It's like basically we're not all area boys. We're not all 419 scammers. Like this did
That's
not
not
feel
the
like
impression
Lagos
I
to
got
me.
from it.
That's not the impression I got either.
No,
but
I understand.
I also think that like that's the whole point of needing multiple books written by similar kinds of people, right? Like our pool of Nigerian science fiction is really small. So obviously you get not every Nigerian or every person that has ties to Nigeria is going to see themselves in this book. That's why you need more.
I also
of
think
it.
like I can definitely also like sympathize, but whenever I can sympathize at that because whenever New Jersey gets written about, I always hate it because it never feels like my home. Like it never feels like you got it right. Ness, you got pissed about Toronto in the Bachelor Girl's Guide to Not Knowing Your Setting.
Yeah, that's because that wasn't actually Toronto. Like that was not.
That lady's from Toronto, though. She's in Toronto.
Says she's from there. I don't have to believe her.
You think it's a lie?
I think it's a lie.
Get InfoWars.
Books set here in the desert that aren't great either.
Yeah. So I think
it's hit and miss.
So I think when you see where you live portrayed, it's never going to look like that. But I also think it's helpful if I can bring back the Guy Ritchie thing in the middle. Okay, fun fact: England is not actually full of like gangsters and like pseudo mafia types and people who feed their enemies to pigs. But that was effectively the plot of most Guy Ritchie movies between the mid-aughts and the late 90s. So that you're always going to take you need those kind of dramatic, not so great elements of the society in order to make stuff happen in your book, because normal, nice people don't get plots that happen to them.
Well, and I think too, Britain has had how many authors have come from England? How many books have set in England? There are hundreds of them, I'm sure.
So there's lots of variety on what we see. Like you can read James Harriet, and then you can read Sorcerer to the Crown, and then you can read some other thing. And it's Guy Ritchie
Jane
movies
Austen.
Three massively different
perspectives.
I get
like the other book I read about Nigeria lately was not science fiction, but so I read 2 this year, and that's because I sought them out. It's not like there's a lot.
Yeah. I thought she did a good job. I mean, all my complaints about, I feel like things kind of got dropped. Things got dropped. But what I did like was all that stuff with the big crowd in front of the house. It was such a diverse crowd. I felt like I was getting a sort of overview of the types of people that might be there. Yeah. Which I assumed was the point because that's what the aliens wanted. They wanted representatives from all types of humans.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I can empathize with the person who did the 1-star review. I'm just saying, it would be cool if we got, I hope that person realizes that we don't think this is the first and last word on what Lagos actually looks like.
I don't know how you can take one book as, I don't know.
But people would, because
it's true.
Scammers and people with machetes, they're going to see that and be like, that looks like the Africa on the news, because Africa is a single country.
This book is
there's so much else happening.
Many different people. I don't. I mean, I'm not disvaluing their opinion on it either. I totally get it. It's really hard sometimes to read something with a place you're familiar with and have it just not feel right. Yeah. Or maybe she said the pidgin English to her was just not right, and
and also
there's a lot going. It's
worrying that people
going
are
on in that
the wrong
review.
idea. Worrying that people are getting the wrong idea. No, this isn't So I get it. I empathize, but and I see what the worry is. But I think that I don't think that it's done a bunch of damage.
No, it wasn't my impression that Nigeria is full of criminals at all.
No.
My impression coming away that Nigeria was a place.
Well, and it was diverse.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Right. There's lots of different, and to me, it seems like we were getting more, despite the fact that Chris and his wife, whose name I'm not going to mangle, can't, they were high class, right? But a lot of the other characters that we followed were working class or poor, right? Or a rural poor. So obviously, if you're in the upper class, right, you're reading a book about mostly lower class people, that's not going to be the Lagos you recognize.
So maybe.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to give a shout out to the 1-star, because I can sympathize.
It was good. It was a well done. Very well done.
It's very difficult to criticize something that heavily. And I think that this person did a good job.
And not be a butt about it, I guess.
Yes. I did not feel she was being a butt.
No. It was well put. It wasn't just this is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it speaks to the larger point, right? So that's That's good. You need more of this.
Yes.
More,
So, but I will say about the diversity presented about Lagos, how about that Black Nexus? Why did we not get another book about them?
Because they all
did we
dead.
see a whole Black Nexus book?
Oh, that's
all
right.
dead. That's
They
why
are probably all dead.
They got boot stomped. They're all dead.
Oh, we don't know that.
Everything about that from beginning to end hurt my heart, please.
Yeah, it was
And then
hard.
they vanished. I didn't hear anything else, and it was bad. And
Well, we saw them getting trampled, and then we never saw them again.
yeah,
That's
but what
true, a
about
lot
the
of
one guy
things.
who had to come out to
Jacobs.
all his friends?
Yeah, Jacobs,
one-
he got murderized.
He got shot.
Yeah. Just at a different time, though. No.
Well, yeah. I feel like it was especially difficult to read that now, given the political
Yeah.
climate in this country,
Just-
right?
Yeah.
And it really did feel like one of those things that, like, the guy who did the shoot of Moses, it was like, he didn't even think about it. He was just like, up, sea dress, sea man. And then afterward, it occurred to him, oh my god, this is my friend that I've known since I was a baby. I know him. Maybe I shouldn't do this. We get killed by weird vines that are apparently part of this scenario now.
Yeah, that does summarize this book nicely.
Yeah, like vines now.
I mean, it makes sense. It made sense to me, though. Like, anytime that I'm going to call them the others, the aliens, right, saw somebody hurting somebody else.
Oh yeah, no, the
person doing the hurting got hurt bad.
Oh yeah, no, they would turn into hamburger.
Yeah.
It was my understanding.
Or a
I don't
tree.
still do
Or
not
a
know
tree.
what was up with the vines.
Well, I just figured it
Still-
was they're tainting anything organic and alive into whatever they want to be.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're granting wishes, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that some vine wouldn't want to be a killer vine.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of it as like something along the lines of the bat or the swordfish.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Or the octopus.
Yeah.
someone wanted to be poison ivy now? Okay.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Poison Ivy, who's a lady character, there were so many female characters. I'm gonna
Oh my
come up,
god, we're on the segues today.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna come up with increasingly terrible segues. That is
We're
my
getting
mission.
better and better.
This is my mission. I am on the second schnapps and seltzer, so
Nice.
this is okay. So we have a lot of female characters in this, and
I love it.
again, if we were reading science fiction based in Nigeria that uses Nigerian culture as like a centerpiece, and also it is basically like the story is run by women, or
Yeah,
they serve
diversity of women, too.
incredibly important plot points.
Yeah.
But they weren't
Wives
just
and
plot
moms.
No,
points.
and they serve in, they act
Yeah.
in.
No, I wasn't saying that you were saying that.
Yes,
but I think
they
it's a
were
good point
plot
to make.
point.
Yeah.
Like,
so
oh
impressed
man,
with that.
like Isayo, like yeah, she has that terrible end, but she was important. Like she
Yeah.
mattered. I'm trying to think of the other like side character ladies. Philomena.
Mm-hmm.
Philomena was a
Philomena.
huge catalyst for a lot of things happening, and she did things herself. She's a terrible person, but
What about
Kola,
the president's wives? They were my favorite.
they
I
were
love the
interesting. The
president's
two that,
that
we
was
met,
interesting.
the
Yeah.
two that we met were interesting, and especially because that's not something that like that hits the brain in a weird place if you're American. Like, president can't have multiple wives. He's the president. President can't do that. Well, like, you're not in America. You're in Nigeria. It's a different place. It's a different culture. Like, just this isn't where your question should be going right now.
Yep.
But yeah, I like the one that went on the boat. She was rad. She was rad.
Right?
She was
I
like,
love their
"You're not doing
interactions
this
with
without
each
me."
other and the way that they like juggled his needs and
Yeah, and like neither of them were clearly happy to be like in the situation they were in, especially considering like the medical issues that were going on, and like there was a power struggle, but it never got catty, and I
Mhm.
appreciated that because like it's almost inevitable when you have anyone in a position of power, and you know you're at the periphery of that power, you're going to try and get you some of that, but it never got like catty. It always felt very like logical, insofar as there was a power struggle.
Love it.
So, speaking of romantic power struggles, what did we think? Fair warning was given, guys. What did we
I
think?
know. I don't just know.
We're gonna snicker
What
at it.
Yeah, it's fine. Just keep happening. What did we think about the romantic triangle, such as it was between Chris, Adora, and Agu?
I thought it felt
Yeah,
that was the only part I did not
romantic
really
triangle.
Yeah, the little triangle that was trying to get off the ground there. I felt it was more like at one point this was one of those creature feature B movie type plots. Like she was going for something a little more formulaic, and like obviously like two of the leads fall in love. I mean, So I thought that it felt like kind of a throwback to maybe what was an earlier version of the book, because there were some really cool like creature feature elements of it, and I love that.
I
like,
definitely was rooting for
because
Chris.
Agua was such a
I
sweetie.
didn't care how. I was just like,
Just see, if I'm gonna
be
pick,
Chris.
it's gonna be Anthony. The
Yeah,
rabbit.
hell yeah.
Like he was the better choice there.
He was awesome, but he had other things on his mind though. Like he was very busy. He's got a lot of attacking people with pure sound to do, which I think is the coolest superpower. But no, it was like, and Agua was a good guy. He was a nice man.
He was fine.
He was a nice guy.
He was okay.
At the same time-
Yeah, but he was
He
no
was
Anthony
okay.
Craze, the famous rapper. Come
Yeah,
on.
well, no, I mean, she wasn't going to be like, joining a new social circle thanks to him, but he was a nice farm boy, and that's very classic.
He was a nice guy, TM.
Yeah, I know.
He was.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
That's why I was like, he was just nice. And with
Yeah,
the,
that's not a compliment. That is not.
I know.
I don't mean that as a compliment. I mean that.
I know.
He
but-
was expecting something from her that she was kind of like, I don't really want to give you that thing.
Yeah.
He makes me think of Caden, where he's suddenly
Yes.
just like, hi.
Just like, hey, guess what? We're a thing now. Oh, okay. This is all right.
You're like,
Well,
oh,
he was super judgy
I mean-
of her being with Chris, and I'm like, dude, you just got here.
Right?
Yeah,
like
like,
you don't know what their whole
what do
life
you
is
know?
like.
Yeah, they have 2 kids. I'm not saying she should stay with him. I'm saying maybe let
Like,
her make her
there
own
are
decision.
other factors going on here.
Yeah.
But at the
Well,
same
right,
time, I
she
thought,
can- like her choices are not leave like Chris or Agu. She can leave Chris and not bone this random nice guy TM. Like
Yeah.
she can go find her own life.
yeah,
Hang
she
out
could
with the
go.
rapper.
She could live in the water and be an African fish mermaid. She can do
Yeah,
all sorts of
right.
cool shit.
life. That life.
can
Yeah,
just
that
do
was
that.
pretty cool.
Okay.
Go visit your kids every now and then. Like, make sure you have like regular scheduled visitation with your children so they don't get abandonment issues because of your fishness. But yeah, you can figure this out. You can be a strong, independent.
Kids will be living the Faulkner chapter.
Yeah, you guys can like you're a strong, independent fish woman. You can figure out the terms of your own life and live it on your terms.
And if you haven't read this book, this seems completely
So read the book. Get on our
Read the
fucking
book.
level.
It's super weird, but in a good way.
It's super weird. You will never read, much like I said with the Matt Wallace book, like with Envy of Angels. You are never going to read anything like Lagoon.
Mm-hmm.
There are no other books like it. So just give it a try. Whether or not you get lost in the jumps of POV like I did, it's still something that is worth your time to read, just because it is so unique. It's like adding a new fresh vegetable to your diet. It's like, oh, this is good for me, and it's something new and unique.
Oh,
So-
speaking of vegetables, how many people thought the raw egg thing was actually raw egg?
I looked it up. I was like, garden egg, garden egg.
Raw garden egg. I was like, what the
I
fuck?
was like, is
What
it
is a garden? I didn't look it up.
Is
What
it
is
eggplant? It is a unique vegetable to Nigeria. It is tomatoey, but not. It is a little green thing that looks like a tomatillo, but is not. Tomatillo.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
like I didn't think it was an actual raw egg because when they compared it to like a plum,
Yeah, it was like you just
eggs
eating
are
it like a.
is a plum.
Yeah, it's like a little round veggie, I think, and
I did
yeah,
get the
it's
impression you're not supposed to eat them raw, though.
yeah.
Yeah,
no,
that.
they're-
Like,
according to Google, you're supposed to cook them, and they are quite tasty. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
if you Google it, you figure it out. But it's like something that doesn't really have an analog. It is not eggplant. Speaking of things that are not eggplant, what did you think of the magic? Magic's not eggplant.
that's not a good segue.
I'm working on
didn't-
it.
Like what? I don't know. I felt like it came about halfway through the book, and I was like, "Where did this come from, and what is happening now?" Why
Yeah,
is
I
it-
don't
why does
know
it matter.
why they were the X-Men. Like, I don't know why they were the Fantastic Four. I don't know. And I don't know if it had anything to do with the aliens.
But it can't have because the
No, it
two
didn't.
Yeah, the
men,
aliens just got there.
no,
but-
and the 2 men had that thing since
Unless
childhood.
unspoken
Yeah.
parts of narrative, like aliens had been there, touching
Or-
people on the nose beforehand, or something.
Aliens had been there. They
Doing
were
a snoop
boning
boop?
people, and those people were descendants of aliens.
Like, do
Or
we really
maybe
think
it was
these aliens just now landed for the first time? Because I don't think so.
It might be because they're like, we're here now we want to make changes. If they were going to make changes, like if this was their whole MO, they would have been doing this slowly over time. And this all seems very sudden. So what I
what
think
if,
it
like,
it's the giant spider. The spider, if you listen to the spider, it's like the story needs people who are special. So I think the fact that it is a story, the plot demanded that these people have special powers.
Huh.
So they have special powers.
Maybe they
And that's
can-
okay because it's a giant spider.
Maybe the spider embellished. Maybe it's an
That's what I mean.
unreliable
The
narrator.
spider is Varric.
The unreliable
so
narrator.
The
Up
spider
to
is
and
there.
including
the spider
flipping
was
you off
actually-
as the reader at the end of the book. Like,
And the
yeah,
chest hair.
you'll never know.
Chest hair. It's all
It
there.
was very fuzzy, yeah. But no, it was
So
but yeah, it
But
was
did the aliens grant the spider the power of narrative?
no. No, because
because they said it comes from the earth.
yeah,
Right?
because
It
they
comes
had
from
that.
Nigeria.
they had all those other deities. They had Mami Wata, they had Osun. No,
Yeah.
Osun just got a name check. There was Papa Legba showed up. Like everything that was part of this old folkloric tradition. And Anansi gets a shout out too. Like
Yeah,
all this old
Anansi, yeah.
folkloric tradition.
The bone collector.
The Bone Collector is
so
fucking.
good.
I want to find more stuff about the Bone Collector, but
So, okay, my theory, I'm gonna spit it out because I know it's not true, but totally in my mind, I was like, these aliens came after their friends crashed here, and they like helped populate some fucking sweet ass alien babies that don't know they're aliens. They got the magic powers, and then they
Oh,
died
God.
off. And then that's why they're like, we're here because they think they're coming to meet their friends. And it's
Oh,
like,
God.
shit, it didn't work.
Oh, okay.
Guys.
So this is like the B team of stars, like in Resident Evil. They're just like getting sent in to go find their friends, but it's all just zombies and garden eggs.
Yeah, and they're just like, fuck.
No,
It didn't
that's
work. But it's cool because they left us as sweet offspring.
yeah. It's like this guy can like he uses.
So yeah, in my
sound.
mind, just lots of space boating happened. Like
Yes.
I mean
20
that's
plus years ago,
that's
30
fair.
years ago, whatever.
I mean, with this, they like being in the ocean, so like maybe
Yeah.
even so long ago that it was pre-evolutionary. Like,
like
fair.
a small enough team of them that they slipped by all these other deities in a way, you know, like that didn't notice them.
That's the thing. I'm sticking to my. It was the plot demanded that these people had special powers, and the plot being the thing that the giant spider explained. Like,
lied.
yeah, or the giant spider lied. But if these people had special power, because like I don't feel like you can bluff on fish person.
No,
Like-
or like sound.
Yeah, you could,
thing.
like-
Well, she could have been lying too. Like, why?
True.
There's no reason to think that
Like,
she's
it could-
necessarily
okay,
telling the
yeah, it
truth.
could all
Everybody
be
lies,
lies.
all right? House told me this.
It's true.
Yes,
It's
it could-
also not lupus.
Especially
it's
storytellers.
It's
Storytellers
not
lie
lupus,
more
it's
than
Joyce.
anyone.
Storytellers always lie. Sketch tells us this
And
in
you
Comics
always
too.
poop blood.
Yeah,
Yes.
but why lie when
Oh.
it's magic, bitches? I don't have to explain anything. The plot
Because
needed
it's fun
these
to
people have-
lie. That's why.
The plot needed these people to have special powers, so they have special powers.
That's our
that's it.
unreliable narrator.
I know you're like
It kinda
I love
came out
it.
of nowhere.
you're trying to add unreliableness to the narrator who's already basically
The
flipping
narrator is
everybody off.
already unreliable.
Yeah, I
don't
know.
have
You're trying to
anything.
add.
It's there.
Speaking of things that were added, there were a lot of perspectives added toward the middle of the book. So was it hard to follow the shifting perspectives? I think we decided that kind of yes.
No, I absolutely not. Not
You
even
didn't have a
bit.
problem?
Not even a
Good
little
for
bit.
you. Good for you.
Audiobook was easy. We got voices.
Oh,
For
all
every
right.
character.
A lot easier. Yeah, for sure.
Like I knew when it was switching over, but it took me a while to figure out. Like, oh, we're rewinding. We're
I
rewinding
wanted a
over the
little
same
less
time.
of it though, and more story. I feel
Yeah.
like there wasn't enough story to please my type of reading appreciation.
That's fair.
But
Yeah.
but it was like it felt like I was sort of in an airplane over the story, where I like to be more
Yeah.
in like in the
In
story
it.
a little bit.
Yeah.
And and I so that was my like beef part of my beef. And that's why so you get like glimpses and snippets of perspective that never go anywhere. Like the guy who was from America and was doing the 419 scams and
Yeah.
scamming that lady from whatever. That like it was there and it was gone. And it was
But
fascinating.
that did come back though. Not
Yeah, like
him,
a
but
little
like
bit.
the little end of that came back.
Yeah.
The deities.
It felt like it was like a mix of like a memoir and then like almost an ethnography. Like somebody was going around being like, okay,
Like
you saw a
interviewing.
little piece of the story, so I'm gonna get the part of your story
that
that's
is how it
relevant.
felt.
That's it. The eye was there. The eye was
That's
there.
exactly how it
chapters.
felt.
Yeah, which I really enjoyed, but I can see how it'd be
It took me a while to put together how they were important, and it wasn't until I figured out what was up with the giant spider that I kind of was like, oh, all right, that's the deities. That was when I found my unifying theory of giant spiders.
Right.
And until then, I was just like, the fuck with the snake and the 419, man. Seriously, read this book. This is absolute
So
fucking gibberish if we
Every
don't.
time you turn a page,
know the
it's like
book.
what?
It's like, sure.
It's so worth it, guys. It's
Yeah,
so worth it.
it's so good.
Fucking sure, Bone Collector. Okay.
Yeah. She feeds herself to it. Like,
Okay.
she feeds herself to the
Yes.
road.
That was so good.
That's
was
so good.
good.
Can you imagine
was
like witnessing
foreshadowing-
that, just being like,
Right?
"Oh,
Well, she's foreshadowing that the whole time. Like, she keeps saying, everybody dies on this road. This road is so dangerous.
Yes.
No other road in this area is as dangerous as this road. It's just like, okay, it's fine. It's
Tarantula
dangerous.
talks to the road, and he's gonna beat the
like,
road.
why didn't you
it's
come back
so
and talk
great.
to the road and ask for this person back?" Like,
Right? I love
Yeah, it's
that
like,
she was like, you
'cause
didn't
you
ask
don't
for
do
your
that
wife's
with
dad
roads.
back? What the fuck? You're such a bad husband.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. Why
do you-
didn't you just ask the road? Yeah.
lady, we're not on speaking terms. Like, I don't know. But no, so
Delightful.
like there's also so once you figure out like folklore is happening, that like I said, you need the unifying theory of giant spider in order, or I needed the unifying theory of the giant spider in
I
order
wonder
to
if you would have, like, if
go back.
any of us would have been better versed in Nigerian folklore, if we would have been able to see what was happening more quickly. Like, I wonder how much like cultural knowledge makes this a different reading experience.
I only started to, like, I know the idea behind Papa Legba, and I was like, oh, all right, well, maybe he's just metaphorically Papa Legba, and then Mommy Wada shows up, and I was like, okay, all right, no, we are officially in. The snake was not metaphorical. It was trying to figure out what was metaphorical and what wasn't.
Nothing was
And
metaphorical.
the answer was nothing. Nothing was a metaphor.
That's what I mean. So if you
Nothing
have like that like that cultural heritage and that knowledge of that, if that not helps, but gives you a different
Oh
experience.
my god. But wait, and then the witches weren't even metaphorical, because there were actually fucking witches. Guys, I gotta sit down here.
You're sitting down.
you're already sitting.
I gotta go on the floor.
What if
I gotta lay down.
just real?
I gotta lay down, because holy shit, this book has so many layers for something that I picked on the basis of, like, fuck yeah, creatures from the water. Like, no, this book is so much smarter than
This
I.
book- yeah,
than
this
that
book
blurb
is
gives
way-
me an
Nnedi
idea
Okorafor
for.
PhD. Like, welcome to her book.
Yeah, seriously. But no, I mean, smart people can write just like, yeah, I'm gonna write some fucked up shit coming out of the water.
No.
That's fun.
You follow her on Twitter, you know she's not fucking around.
Yeah, it's like nothing wrong with having fun. Honestly, like
There's nothing wrong with having fun, but she does not fuck around.
Yeah, it's like no, I got other shit to do. Like, wait till you realize that nothing is a metaphor. All the crazy shit is actually happening. Yes, there was a magical snake, and he's he's hanging out. This giant spider, and the giant spider is everything, and you can't figure it out that the giant spider. Speaking of things, yeah, it's like
The best scene.
yeah, he just shows up. Sup. Hey, have fun. So basically, it was like the narrator just couldn't keep herself out of her own story and just wanted to be like, "Hey guys, you're doing a great job."
But she shows up throughout the whole story, being like asking questions, right? Like, what would you have done differently when?
Yes.
Oh well, yeah, no, she shows up for us.
Yeah.
for
Yeah, she
us.
actually
But
just
like at
tries
one
to
point,
kill- she breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
yeah, she breaks the fourth wall, and at one point, she goes and like hangs out like in the Undersea Kingdom.
Yeah.
She goes to visit them and is just like, "Hey, big fan."
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
And they're just like, "Holy fucking shit, a giant spider under
And
the
then
water."
they're just
Why?
like, whatever, bigger
And
problem.
then they move on.
Yeah.
Then they move on.
So great.
Speaking of moving on, did anybody move on past the acknowledgments to the bonus chapter at the end where they
Yes.
talk about?
Yeah.
Patrick Weeks
Bacteria.
has trained me well. Patrick Weeks.
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't turn it off until I don't turn the e-reader back on to home until I get that 100%.
That's right.
Completion.
Even though
So,
the
yeah.
Goodreads thing popped up at the end of what looked like the end of the book, right?
Yeah, no, I know it lies now.
that
I
the
know
last
it lies.
After that,
book that did that? Because I'm about to be on that. That was
Sorry?
the last one of his series, right? That did that. That has like the extra chapter.
No, it's the
second
middle one.
It's the middle one.
The
Is
second
it?
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
What?
I missed it too. I missed this too. I missed it
listened
too.
to it. Maybe I didn't miss it.
You might not have.
Actually, I listened to it. I don't think I missed it.
No,
I
probably.
lied.
In the regular book, you're just like, oh, sweet, acknowledgements. Okay.
No, I
I'm
didn't miss it. That's
done.
right. Because I was like, I'm finishing that series right now. Shit. And I was like, no, wait. Okay, I
No, in the
listened to it, so I
audio,
didn't miss
doesn't
it.
do that.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it doesn't.
They don't put the acknowledgements in the audiobooks, so I'm sure
No.
they added that as the last chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. So yeah. Okay. Whew. I feel safe.
So speaking of ends, did you guys, was the dictionary, what was the final verdict on the dictionary? Was it like helpful, or would it have been cool to have it at the beginning? I feel like it would have been cool to have it at the beginning.
Yeah.
That is just pure personal preference.
Or like in the ebook, if
Um,
they would have put a link to it at the beginning, right? Like there's no reason why it has to go in
Yeah, all
chronological
the
order.
all the credits are at the back. That
Yeah.
does not help me. Or I'm sorry, the table of contents is at the back.
Or like,
Really?
just
'Cause it wasn't
like,
in
you know, Maybe like say like, hey, there's a dictionary somewhere in the front.
Yeah, glossary of terms.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going off the segue train. Okay, so this is one thing that I really want to see. If somebody asked you, okay, sell me, what is Lagoon about? Tell me. Give me your elevator pitch for what Lagoon is about. Anyone? Anyone got this one?
Let's see.
Water aliens, witches, Nigeria. There you go. Read it.
There you go.
Adventure.
Yeah,
Death.
probably do
Lots of
that.
death.
Lots of
I'm
death.
not entirely sure right now.
Unreliable narrator. That would be my
But
selling
it was
point.
really fun to read.
That's always your selling point.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. Every now and then I'll be like, Twitter, tell me your favorite unreliable narrator books, and then I'll get like 30 recs, and I'll be like, yes, come to the children.
Because if there's anything you needed, it's more books to read.
Yeah. Listen, I finished my challenge pretty much for the year, so that was just
Christ.
fun books.
Yeah, I'm done. I hit my challenge.
Oh boy.
Nice.
I have not.
Just plowing
so
through the next 20 books I'll read before 2017, I bet.
Jeebus. Okay.
I know. I
and
read a lot.
Yeah, I know. I'm just slow. I'm a slow reader, which is part of why it took me forever to get through this book, even though I was enjoying myself. Okay, so what did you think about the concept that everything has a sentience? Do we count like roads as having sentience, or is it just this one road that turned
I think it
into a
was just
folklore
that
character?
road.
I think because that road was like
Yeah.
possessed
I
by
disagree.
the bone collector.
I disagree.
Yes.
I think all the roads probably have a sentience. That was just his or hers.
Huh.
Theirs.
So you think like there's just like all sorts of weird little
Everything we
Things.
encountered had a sentience to it. Everything.
yeah.
Well,
And-
not the nice road. We never saw
Huh?
anything. The nice road.
Well,
when they
that
drove
was
on
an
that.
uninteresting. That was an uninteresting plot point. A nice road. Who cares?
But that's
Well,
every
but
time.
maybe
Why
at the same time that one does have that to it, and it wants to be the nice road.
Yeah, but we could see something like
Look at
that,
this
like
road, no
actively
potholes.
protecting. No, or
No
like
death.
actively protecting the drivers from something coming on. Like I
Because
feel like
that-
there
It
are.
could happen.
If I could paraphrase Aveline, absence of a thing is not proof of the thing.
Yeah, but the fact that every single thing we encountered from the aliens' perspective had sentience makes me believe that from the aliens' perspective, however they perceive the universe, everything does have sentience.
I
agree to
That was
disagree.
my feeling. Every
Yeah, I
spider,
got the idea.
everything.
I got the idea of a Velveteen Rabbit situation where like something can gain like a
Interesting.
spirit or a soul over
Yeah.
time.
No,
Like
I
the
think
idea that
that's
like
good.
a nice kind of like a normal road isn't really going to have much associated with it, but there are certain roads that like we just associate with having a certain spirit to it. Like in America, we have Route 66. Like, yeah, nobody takes it anymore, but everybody kind of associates it with like travel and this and having a personality to it. So
that's-
almost
that's
it's like
kind
that.
of- I was gonna say that kind of reminds me of the girl who circumnavigated fairyland in a vessel of her own making, in which things that are more than 100 years old gain sentience.
Mm-hmm.
I want to read that book.
It's
That's
so
been
good.
on my list for a
Read the
while.
book; it's so good.
Yeah, I've had that book on my
Then-
list for a while.
I don't know. Even
So-
the computers, like the deities went into the computer.
But the computers themselves didn't have sentience. It
Well,
just
that
went
we
into-
know of, because no alien hadn't had a need to talk to one right then.
I mean, they could
I feel
have.
like a lot of stuff has sentience in this universe because a lot of the deities possess it, but not everything does.
If we go back to the giant spider, we can decide that everything
Oh
has
my God,
sentience
you're
when the
obsessed.
plot needs it, because it all happens
That's
goes back to the
I'm gonna
spider. So
send you a
everything
giant spider stuffed animal.
I would
have the
happily have a
impression
giant
that everything
spider.
does, and the aliens would just grant it voice to humans. That was my.
But
feeling.
they didn't. They granted the voice to all kinds of creatures.
Well, they sort of talked to them. I guess they didn't grant them so humans could necessarily hear, but when they wanted to have a conversation, they would with
Also,
whatever.
The aliens were not down with that road, though. They were like enemies. They were
Yeah.
enemies,
Well-
and so the alien was like, "The fuck's your problem?" He's like, "I'm the bone collector. I'm here to get your bones." It's like, "Fine, take them," and then they fight.
Yeah, they just
So
negotiated.
I don't think the aliens did that. I don't think the aliens made that road what it was. That road was always the bone collector, and it's just like now that these folkloric and these deities are kind of popping up, like, well, guess it's time. Like I think that's why Legbo was just like there having a party because that's kind of his jam. Mommy Wada was walking around looking for people who were like
That
fucking
was amazing.
witches.
Can we talk about how like Father Oke got his end? That was so.
That was pretty great. He's like, Marine witch. She's like, fuck yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna bang you, and she's like, no, that's not what we're doing.
No. You're gonna come with me though. Well, I mean, your boobies are pretty great. Come on, closer to the water. Come on.
Good.
Oh, and then he's dead.
My argument, I still think everything has sentience, and it's just that we didn't talk to everything.
Fair enough.
Fair. Agree to disagree.
I think both points are valid. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where like either or it could be right, and I just don't know.
Yep.
And with the unreliability of the narrative, we'll never know.
Exactly, because everything could just come back to that giant spider, where it's just like, yeah, the road is alive because it's alive. Fuck you.
I need to go read some fan fiction about this. Is what I'm saying basically.
Yeah. The road is alive because
I want to read all the fan theories. Yeah.
Is there like a message
you.
board for conspiracy theories about Lagoon?
I guarantee. Theories? I'm going to AO3 right now.
There we go. Okay. AO3 won't let you know.
You've got your summer camp nano projects.
There you go. Listen, I have like 16 nano projects right now.
I was going to say between that and like queer space Emma.
Yeah. And what was the one we came up with Alice? I can't remember, but it was a good one too.
Alice? I don't know.
In
Alice.
the episode we just recorded.
Oh shit.
I can't remember what it is. But
shit, I don't remember either, and I'm editing that tomorrow. So, fuck, I don't remember.
We'll find out tomorrow.
It was a pretty great one.
Yeah,
it was a pretty
also
great one.
coming.
Oh shit.
TBC, to be continued. So let's end on something that's probably going to have even more ideas behind it. What did the aliens actually want?
Change.
Why?
They decided all they want is change. Their change. Everything changes. They straight up said that what they want is change.
We float around from world to world, changing things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that bring down?
That sounds like a fucking blast. Are you kidding me?
Right? Well, let's just fuck shit up on other worlds.
Shit up on other worlds. Like, oh my god, that sounds great.
See, I think it was the synthesis ending.
It was the synthesis.
Synthesis
right?
ending.
Yeah.
They were looking for green, so they were like, okay, cool. So we're gonna find a planet. Oh, there's all sorts of shit we can bond to down here. Yeah, we're change. Like, we're not trying to do anything. We want to be like you. We want to be meat people. And fish and other stuff.
They are now.
Interjection. I'm severely disappointed in AO3.
No Lagoon
because there's not a single Lagoon fic.
Tragic.
All right, just gonna Google Lagoon fanfiction.
I've got it. You guys continue.
All right. Yeah. No. So I think that they were going for the synthesis ending. And they were like, hey, if we like link up with organics, we can do all sorts of other cool shit and change can keep happening, but in like a new and expansive way.
That's a weird motive.
I think it is too.
It is, but I like it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best I've got.
Look, they just landed here. We're like, let's bone people.
Yeah, like let me get into your lungs right now.
They needed meat flesh to bone. They needed to synthesize in order to be able to do that.
Before they became mist. Why didn't they just start with being mist?
I don't know, consent. But then again, they kind of blew through that anyway.
Consented?
There was no consent.
No one. I know, but maybe they were waiting for it. Like, hey, maybe we can make this happen. No,
How
I have to become.
Ask for consent.
I have to become a sentient patch of haze.
That's right.
Excuse me.
Yes or no?
Hey guys, it's Deb. It's Deb.
Deb, the sentient patch of haze.
Oh my god, guys, I found it erotic.
Oh no.
Of course, the one thing on the internet about this incredibly brilliant book.
Tentacles.
If it's tentacles, I'm gonna.
Yes,
I mean,
the fan art that has two scaly ladies making out.
Well,
so
there you go. That's what the aliens really want.
That's a great takeaway.
They're very white, though, so that's unfortunate.
That's a fantastic takeaway from this unbelievably complex layered book.
Scaly. I don't know.
Adora gets scaly.
Well, the way I'm interpreting it, but I'll read this and report back later. But is that they're? I mean, like, when, what's her face? Adora became a human again.
Yeah.
Right. Like, she had scales on them. The president's second wife helped them off.
Yeah.
I guess so.
So maybe that's the transformation, and they also transformed into white girls. I'm just not really sure.
I don't know.
Okay, why not? The aliens definitely didn't want that.
Maybe that isn't actually related to this, and it just
No, it
somehow
is.
came up. Oh,
No, they have a whole essay ahead of it. It's a
okay. A
This
sweet.
year's story is
Did
an
you check
erotic homage
Tumblr?
to Nnedi Okorafor's sci-fi novel Lagoon. I just typed Nnedi Okorafor fanfic
Oh
into
my
Google.
Can we tweet her and ask?
She tweeted this story out!
Lagoon,
Oh,
is
That's
this
how I found it!
dear Nnedi Okorafor? Is this canon? Yes, no.
No.
Oh dear.
No, it's not.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Oh
I
boy.
question the
Good
aliens'
job.
motives. That's
Good
all I'm
job,
saying.
internet. Good job, internet. So yeah, the aliens' motives don't make sense. But again, if you just go with the giant spider,
Enough
it
of the giant
doesn't
spider.
matter. There's never enough of the giant spider because it explains
Maybe there was
everything.
never aliens to begin with. The spider just thought it would be a cool idea.
It was just spiders all the way
This
down.
whole story's a lie.
I mean, yeah, it's fiction.
So,
It's fiction.
I
A
think
story
I
within
think
a
we
story.
should do
is a lie.
ratings, and I want to tell you
Yeah.
guys about our hot and spicy December pick.
Oh
Okay,
boy,
Rosie-
I'm looking forward to
Rosie
having this in
told us
my.
that her rating is 5 nuggets.
Yeah, Rosie loved
Which
it.
I'm
Rosie
really
loved
sad
it.
that she's not here because she has not loved anything except for
I
Handmaid's
know,
Tale.
especially
Oh,
not when
she's not gonna like my pick.
No, she is not.
I have a feeling I'm gonna regret having this in my Amazon search history.
No,
yes, you
let's
have.
just-
Bear
let's go.
has ruined my Amazon searches. Is all I'm gonna say.
Oh my god. Well, anyway, let's nugget ratings. Amelia, what is your nugget rating?
4 nuggets from me with the hot mustard that I really like.
That's a good idea. That's good.
Yeah.
Izzy?
I'd like 4.5 nuggets. It's real close. It's real close. It's definitely
Yeah,
a book
I get it.
I would recommend to
Yeah.
people. There's a couple just little things. Like it's real. It's
It's really
It's a
good.
book
tough.
that I would recommend to some people because, like, if you go in, like, the way I initially was, I'm like, oh, fuck yes, African space creatures from the water. You're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And, like,
agreed.
so unless you have the opportunity to kind of talk out and find out just, like, how many layers deep this thing is,
Yeah, I don't think
Figure it
I'd
out.
recommend this as my first, like as somebody's first Okorafor book.
probably not.
Well,
no.
that's my first, so maybe that's
What was our
why.
first
Yeah.
though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
I
think,
would
like,
read it.
after-
I'm really glad I read it.
It would
I
depend
No.
on the type of person.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it is a
You
book
just have
that
to be
has gone on
prepared for that
to.
plain view instead of that down
Yeah.
on the ground plot view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And like I
and then
said, I just put it on my rec shelf. Like I keep a shelf on Goodreads for recommendations. So it's one that like I have to vet the person a little first, but it's definitely on
Yeah.
that shelf of like
It's
good.
yeah, it's something. Ness, what is your official nugget rating?
I would say 4 nugs with both sweet and sour and barbecue sauce.
Mm.
That's
It's
a good
really
combo.
blended and
that is a
unique.
good combo. That is my
Unique
favorite
as well.
combo.
that just sounds so
I have revised my because the more I think about this book, like I originally rated it 3 on Goodreads because it was like right afterward and I hadn't figured out the giant spider. But once I figured out the giant spider, this is easily like a 4 nuggets, but like artisanal homemade nuggets with like some panko breadcrumbs up in that shit.
Organic nugget.
Yeah, but like no, you
Actual
made it yourself and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
some panko
They're
breadcrumbs.
angel nuggets.
And mash that
Maybe.
chicken up.
But just like really good nuggets, 4 really
Shit
good
out by
nuggets.
an actual chicken. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
a
Yes.
giant magical
And
chicken.
honestly, the Matt Wallace comparison does work.
Oh, delightful.
Fucking what? All right, that is me. So
Izzy,
I
take
finally
away.
picked a book that we liked.
Yay! Told you it happens.
Right?
It
It's bound to
happened.
happen eventually.
It's happening.
Numbers are on your side. So for December,
Yes.
I couldn't find us any like guaranteed like candy cane shaped and or
Spiciness.
oriented objects being involved. So
I
I
have to
would
write it.
You were like googly like keywords candy cane dildo. Like is that what I'm?
Yeah.
All right. Google
So private search, not record.
Incognito search.
Yeah. So I instead decided to go with one author that, although I've not read all of her works, I know I enjoy a lot, and as does Amelia, like top ranking author for me,
It's gonna be like
Generally-
last Christmas.
nails it. I read her Halloween one. It was good. They're classic romance Harlequin style, so that's exciting.
Just look at the
Oh my
fucking
god,
cover.
look at the cover.
This guy's
Yeah.
mustache
Wait,
needs
what's
to
it called? Is it her
calm
Thanksgiving one or her
down.
Christmas one?
We're doing One Hot December by Tiffany
Nice.
Rees
Nice.
because the cover guy has a
His mustache is like 30 years out of date. Oh, is there a little goatee attached to it?
It's Men at Work, guys.
Oh my goodness.
The Halloween one is really good. I'm about to read the Thanksgiving one this week.
Yeah, her Thanksgiving one just came out. When does this come out? Because I don't think it's out.
December 1st. December 1st.
Okay.
Oh,
I will
good.
pre-order
Can't
it.
wait.
You can pre-order it right now for $4.49.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm
Oh,
gonna.
God, my dream.
But I just thought, this is something we don't normally read. Is like that more
Not anymore,
Harlequin
anyway.
style.
Yeah.
And I don't really either, but I do because it's her. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna read her. Like, I love her writing.
Don't you think it looks like Dorian?
No.
No.
How dare you?
Just
I
from
see
the
the
neck
square
up, from the
jaw.
neck up, neck up.
I get the square jaw look. But
Oh no,
he's-
you know who he looks
he's a
like?
little
He looks
less
like
angular.
a guy from Grey's Anatomy. I had to
no.
zoom up the picture. It changed. When I zoomed it.
His goatee is really upsetting. I'm sorry.
And
I-
pre-ordered.
Yeah.
Bought. Thank you. Fantastic. Also buying
It should be
for
good.
Naughty Holiday. Just
Oh, she's a welder,
We
too.
said this last year, too.
Like, Reese does a really good job with dialogue,
Yes.
Really?
making it real.
For real,
Mhm.
she's a great writer.
She's a really good writer. Her other books are like,
A dialogue?
Yes. She
Oh, there's
incredible-
dialogue. Yeah.
no, the dialogue is like
style
on
dialogue.
point. Yeah. But the Siren and the Sinner series is really good. But I know Amelia and I have read. Amelia's probably read all of them. I'm not done with them yet.
I read all of them.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're a little too much for y'all, so I avoided
Kind of
picking them. Because they're
Yeah.
intense.
Definitely don't check into what I've been reading on AO3 lately.
Even the most exquisite, broken things can be welded back together.
Yeah,
I'm
It's a
telling you, she's a
Harlequin.
great writer.
She is
She's
a good
great
writer.
She knows how to rock a theme. I mean,
she does. The Halloween one is great, and I
Fabulous.
don't.
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
read it, guys.
The
I'm gonna read
Thanksgiving
it.
one, I'm not excited about because it involves a dude with a kid, and I just could care less. So I was like, "Fuck it, we're doing the
Well,
Christmas
but
one."
there's gonna be sex, so the kid's not gonna be in it that much.
I know.
Well, it's
But yeah,
December,
I'm
too,
really
so-
excited to introduce you guys to her as an author.
Also, holy cow, her sex writing is top notch.
Woo boy.
Dang, all right.
Yeah,
No
No
especially
servants touch her? Is that what you're saying? He's not going to hit the entrance to her womb?
No, there's no that
Oh,
garbage.
oh.
There is no
All right, that
pig
helps.
eating at all.
Oh.
No,
So
there's,
obvious
you would
yeast
choke.
infections.
there's knife
You would
play in one of the
choke.
books, guys.
God, you would choke trying to eat while having sex.
Especially
Oh my
whole
God.
pancakes.
Right, and
even
bacon.
cut
And all the syrup. Oh,
Right.
oh.
Yeah.
A chronicle of yeast infections. It's just that's. Oh my god.
No, it wasn't